Hello, sound testing 1 2 3 4. Hello, hello. Sound testing 1 2 3 4. Yeah, let's wait for 5 more minutes. I think some of the people also need to join. Hello. Yeah, hi, Nimala. I think yesterday you were not there in the session, so I have covered a couple of points there. So let's discuss once again on all those points.
I have gone through your class recording session there.
Oh, fine then,
It should
fine
be
then.
fine.
Then let's start then. So then I'll take you to the further topics. Today, what we will do is we will do the configuration.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and tomorrow we will see the front end. So for the configuration, just you follow me this document. So I highlighted with a green color, light green color.
Okay.
Basically, these things are not changed. It's a straightforward, which are there in the classic as well as in the same way we are configuring in S4HANA as well. But the yellow, the highlighted with yellow color, basically these configurations are new for new on S4HANA. So I'll take you through the configuration and I'll go step by step, and we will see. I will give you more inputs here, especially on the highlighted one with yellow, so where new configuration is coming. And the green one, basically we need not to discuss much there. So but anyway, I will show you one company code which I created. We'll go step by step, so when to do what, and first what we need to configure, and then next step what we need to configure. So how the implications of these configuration steps in the front end as well as master creation and all the stuff we will see today.
Okay.
Just I will take you this through the system. No. So I'm going for the infrastructure. So it looks same here. So I will create my company code. I will take you through my company code which I already created. So, so I'm following. I mean, I created two company codes because I wanted to make you understand basically the negative. I mean, I created in the positive way. I wanted to show for one company code, and the negative wherever you do the mistakes and how we need to rectify for that, and then how can we? I mean, those if you do the mistakes, then that will be have implications. So that's the reason I created in two ways. One is in the wrong way, one is in the right way, so that you can avoid the mistakes. So RB05 is a company code where we will see all the results in the positive way. And RB03 is the negative way also created. So this is a company code I created, is the normal way only. I think, however, we create the company code in the same way I created the company code. Okay, and I given the country and currency. So this is the normal configuration only. There is no change in this. And I created my okay. Especially these two things we will discuss later. So basically, in the document splitting and the new, especially in the document splitting point of view, that point of time I will cover this portion. But I created my company code and I created my controlling area as well. So controlling area is mandatory now. So without controlling area, you cannot move forward. So without controlling area, even you cannot create your some of the implications you will have in the at the front end. So that we will see. So, but I can say controlling area is mandatory now. Without controlling area, you cannot proceed on any other anything. So you cannot create your masters, you cannot create, I mean, that means you cannot create your cast elements master data. So all those implications on whatever you are creating during your creation of master. So there are a couple of fields. There is one portion which is relevant for the cost elements. So that portion will not appear there. So we will see all those things. So I will show you with one more company code also, where we are not getting the proper result, where we are getting the result after assigning the controlling area, company code to controlling area. So here controlling area definition also looks same. So nothing is changed here. But assigning your company code to controlling area is a mandatory. I mean, create definition of controlling area and also assigning your company code to controlling area is mandatory. And second thing is your controlling area level settings, whatever it is there earlier, the same thing you can get here. Nothing is changed here. And the rules which we need to follow if you wanted to assign your company code to controlling area, it should be satisfied couple of rules, right? So your fiscal year variant should be same for between your company code and controlling area, and your chart app account should be same between your company code and controlling area, and a posting period variant should be same between your controlling area and company code. So these are all the rules there, whatever there on the ECC 6, the same thing also applicable here. Okay. So, but definition of the controlling is a mandatory, and second thing is there are a couple of other things I will show you. Now go to global settings. So let's just. So now I am doing the configuration of my currencies and ledgers settings here. Here it is a completely new screen. So I can say it is a completely new screen. So you are doing the currency settings here, and also you are doing the settings for as we discussed yesterday. Basically, so currencies earlier we used to create a company code level, right? The OB22, if you can see. Actually, I shown it. I'll show you once again. So this is anyway absolute transaction code, and it will redirect it to the new transaction code, which we are in the same screen now. By using this transaction code also, you can enter to the same screen. So here, for example, you can see. So earlier we, I mean, company code currency and group currency we need to assign here. So this group currency we need to create at client level, right? We need to create this group currency at client level. I will show you that as well. So this, yeah, here we used to create the group currency at client level. So the same currency we used to use for group currency. So now also same thing. The creation of a group currency is at client level only. But earlier you used to assign this, I mean, group currency at company code level. That I mean, just a minute. So if you can see now, the change is here. There, the second currency, the group currency or controlling area currency, whatever, I mean, even the group currency we used to directly assign there, but here it is not like that. So here, what you are doing is, for my 0L, if I can go, this currency, let me show for my company code. This currency we will not assign here. Okay, this will be derived from your controlling area. You can see your controlling area, whatever the currency you are giving there, as a group currency. First, the definition is same. At client level, you need to define that you need to assign for controlling area. From there, it will derive to your company code as a second currency. You can see, okay, KP. Yeah. This group currency, whatever I assign here, so this automatically derived there. So earlier what we used to do is we used to give the currency here. We used to select manually, and also at company code level, whatever the currencies in OB22 transaction code, at company code level, we used to select there as a group currency. It is not like that. It's not like this. It's not like that now. So it is basically when you assign here from here. First, you need to define it at client level, and second thing is this currency we need to assign here. From here, it will be derived in your this currency screen automatically. Automatically, it will be derived. You will not assign here anything. Okay. In addition to this freely definable currencies, you can according to your reporting requirement. For example, I have a reporting requirement in asset accounting. I wanted to show my depreciation areas in different currencies. So how many currencies I wanted to show? Then I need to again define the currencies here and assign here. So that is based on your specific requirements, the client requirements, and based on the business requirement. Then those inputs we will take and we will configure accordingly. And second thing is here, and one more observation you can see here is basically this is not at company code level. This is the combination of your company code and ledger. Earlier, it is only at company code level. Now it is with the combination of company code and ledger. And also you have one more dimension for this is this is one dimension, and also you can see one more dimension here is accounting principle. Okay, so here you can assign your accounting principles as per your business requirement. For this ledger, for this company code, with the combination of your company code and ledger, so whatever the accounting principles you wanted to assign, you can assign here. Either it is IFRS, the local GAAP, and all. Okay, I think we are in two screens. Let me close one screen.
Can you go back on that screen, one cursor back? Because yeah,
sure.
Here, not this one. Like I think that probably the ledger one. Can you keep your cursor on the ledger where we select like asset account, which we need the currencies and all that stuff, right? See, for example, okay. Here, my first question is, see, we would like to have only for asset accounting third or fourth currency. Like if you have derived depreciation areas, then you need to have in different currencies. Like I want to have my group currency is EUR, but I would like to see in USD too. Like if we select that asset accounting, is it going to update only for asset accounting, or will it update the whole ledger 0L?
Asset accounting point of view, there are a couple of things. Those things I will show you during the asset accounting. Basically, so if you have the currencies for 1 and 2 for your ledger 0L, for example, for my company code for my 0L, I have sent 2 more currencies. Okay.
Yes.
2 more currencies for my accounting principle. I will add on my accounting principle also here. IFRS. So I can take a GAAP. Okay, I'm taking only one, so I do not have to complicate in the beginning. So we will send more in future. So for example, I wanted to, I have assigned my company, I have assigned now these 2 currencies. In addition to that, for example, we can assume one more currency assigned here. So these 3 currencies, for example, if I created the depreciation area in my asset accounting, so that depreciation area need to be sync up with all these currencies. Whatever the currencies you assign here, these three currencies you need to repeat there. So that kind of sync up should be there.
Yeah. Okay. I think there is
so these points anyway. Yeah, these points I made a scenarios also. I think in the real time also people are facing some issues here. So because they are not syncing with asset accounting with especially with the currency setup which are doing the GL at ledger level. So there they are getting problems. So how we need to sync up, and I will show you those errors. So from there we will rectify. Then you will understand clearly there.
Okay. Okay, I have one more. Okay, go to the currency types. Can you keep your cursor on the currency types where we see the first screen, where the ledger's name and everything? Okay.
Yeah.
See, for example,
these things I did not cover it. Let me cover all those things. So if you have any further doubts, then you can ask me. So just I'm showing from here. Let me complete the entire thing so that we can understand everything here. So if you have further doubts, you can ask me. So basically, I'm showing from here. So here, that's what basically the change is here. So this is now the combination of ledger and accounting. Company code level. We are creating currencies. Okay, and also you can see the additional dimension is accounting principle here. And third thing is the fiscal year variant posting period variant. Also we are configuring here. And the same one more thing you can see observation is here. We are, for example, this particular currency, if I wanted to use for my asset accounting, I can use for my asset accounting. Same currency I wanted to use for my material ledger reporting, I can use the same currency for my material ledger reporting also. Okay, if I wanted to, yeah, this is one
question. See, here you have selected only real-time integration with a conversion, but you have not selected the deviation in, deviation in asset accounting. If you select, then this currency won't come, or
this currency will be used in, you can use in asset accounting as well.
No, but we have that is a grayed out field called deviation in asset accounting. Can you do an F1 on that if you don't mind?
Yeah, these experiments we will do in future during asset accounting. How it will be have implications when you say it is deviate in asset accounting. We'll have a detailed discussions. So I made a scenario for this. So how it will have the implications. So we can see in asset accounting. I will show you in the material ledger also. I will show you in the asset accounting also. So first we will understand the basic things. So from there we will move on different experiments for asset accounting as well as other topics as well. Okay, but the basic understanding here is basically if you wanted to use these currencies, first thing is the combination you can use, and also second thing is you have three more dimensions here, and also here you can assign your accounting principle to your company code. And first thing is, let me cover this as well. So these currency types we will define here. For example, my 30 is
what is the impact of accounting principle?
The impact of accounting principle is basically now directly we are assigning accounting principle to our company code and ledger combination. So when you assign the accounting principle for that particular accounting principle for that particular ledger and company code level, so you can able to get the reports.
How? Okay.
So let me give complete picture here. So for example, so for example, for my ledger for 0L, I am assigning my accounting principles GAAP. I wanted to report for GAAP, and in case if I wanted to report for IFRS also, or IFRS, IAS, whatever the accounting principles, so I can assign here. So with this combination, with this for this ledger, for this particular company code, I can able to report for my IFRS as well as for my GAAP.
So when you run the report, do you have to pick for which principle you are running those reports? Yes.
When you say it is GAAP and IFRS, you can able to get the reports for both of your accounting principles.
Yeah, that's right. So when at any point of time,
Yeah.
I will get the report only for one principle, either IFRS or GAAP.
Yes.
So would that be at the running of the report, balance sheet or P&L? That's where we'll have to pick which principle we want to use to run those reports?
Yeah, those things we can see in the front end. So once we complete the configuration, so how can we see those reports particularly only for IFRS accounting or particularly for only GAAP? Those we can see in the front end transactions. So let us finish the configuration part.
So,
then I will show you those things as well. Yeah.
Okay. Is it impacting only running the report, or will it impact the posting on the account as well?
It will be, I mean, it will have the implications and posting as well as both the things.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it going to generate like a line item for GAAP? See, it's like
yes,
for GAAP,
yes.
it's general, which is 0L ledger, GAAP accounting
yes.
principle, 2 lines. And then
yes.
0L ledger, IFRS, the remaining
yes.
lines. Like,
yes,
okay.
yes, true. So we will see all those things. So in future. So I made a couple of scenarios for IFRS and GAAP where we can able to generate the reports for example, I maintain my depreciation area for IFRS and for the local GAAP. So I maintained my IFRS with the combination. I maintain here the different currencies. So also this same thing, I have to sync up with my asset accounting, and during I mean asset accounting also we need to maintain the particular depreciation area for this particular ledger. By maintaining, we need to maintain for all the currencies which we are maintaining here. So then only it will be sync up and we can able to generate the reports for with a combination of these three. I mean ledger and account. I mean your particular accounting principles, whatever we are using, and the particular currencies whatever we are using. These need to be sync up. All these experiments we will do in front end in future in the coming sessions.
Okay, can you go to ledger once? On the ledger, can you click on the ledger? I have a question. Okay. See, yesterday class, you were explaining that we have to have a leading ledger first. That should be the base for our extension ledgers, right? And we could have multiple extension ledgers. Here, like if I want to assign for one leading ledger, 2 or 3 multiple extension ledgers, do I need to do like a 2-3 lines here? Because like in this screen, we have only place to extend only one extension ledger. Like for example, 0L leading ledger, or like for example, take A1 extension, that's a A1 extension ledger.
Extending ledger basically. For my 0L, I wanted to create extending ledger on top of my 0L. For example, 1 extending ledger I wanted to show for one purpose. So I can create one extending ledger here. If you wanted to create one more extending ledger on top of the same leading ledger, so you can create one more ledger also.
Okay.
By using the different naming convention there.
Okay, basically wherever we have underlying ledger 0L and then extension ledger selection, those are all tied to the leading ledger 0L. Okay, got you.
Yeah, on top of your leading ledger, so you can report for your extending ledger. The overall result will be the combination of your extending ledger and underlying ledger.
Gotcha. Okay, those two fields have been grayed out, right? The moment you select the leading ledger, extension ledger and underlying ledger, two fields will be grayed out automatically, and you have to create your extension ledgers in the next line and assign it to your underlying ledger, right?
Yes. And one more thing is basically you need to sync up with these things also. If you select the legal valuation for your extending ledger, this should be sync up with your legal valuation with extending. Your leading ledger. If you say it is if you are using for legal valuation and your extending ledger is using for group valuation or something else, it will not take.
Okay, for your leading ledger, you have not assigned any valuation view. You see that? But whereas in your extension ledgers, you can have 3 different valuations, right?
This I am not using. This is by default in the system. By default in the system, it is coming. For my company code, I configured in the same way. If you can see my company code,
yeah, but we can understand that still leading ledger where the valuation view we could keep it blank, but still we can have 3 extension ledgers which are tied to our leading ledger 0L with 3 different views, right? Or no?
One thing, first thing is basically when you say it is, forget about the valuation view. If you wanted to create the 3 different extending ledgers on top of your leading ledger, you can do it. And second thing is this: all the 3 top of on the top of your leading ledger, whatever the extending ledger you are creating, those 3 extending ledger must and should have the same legal same valuation view which you have which you are having for your leading ledger. Okay, that should be sync up. Whatever the valuation, whatever the extending ledger is on top of your leading ledger you are creating.
Yeah.
So for those basically must and should sync up with your leading ledger, especially valuation point of view, legal valuation point of view. If you say it is legal valuation, it should be legal valuation for your extending ledger as well. Otherwise, system will throw you the error.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So a couple of other things we can see here is basically you can create the currency types here. Currency types, whether, so here also you can see some changes here. So you can create your currency types as required by the business. For example, I created, these are all the default one. By default you will get in the system. So 10 is for the company code currency, and 11 is for company code currency for group valuation, and 12 is company code for the profit center valuation. These 2 things we will use from ML and the TP point of view. And 30 is for group currency, and 31 is for group currency for group valuation, and 32 is a group currency for profit center valuations. Okay, these are all the important things I can I mean important things when we will use in the future. And for this, what is you can say here whether you will consider it for the legal valuation, or you can consider it for the group valuation, or for profit center valuation, you can keep here. And second thing is you wanted to use it as a global, you wanted to make it as a company code specific or global. So when you say it is a company code specific, you can use only for your that particular company code, and if you can say it is global, it will be applicable for all the company codes. And second thing is here you are doing the conversations here for your global currency. The conversations for this is for global currency conversation settings. So where you are doing the conversations here, directly we are giving here for my currency 10. I wanted to use a source currency as document currency, and I wanted to translate by using the moving average price. So these currency rates we will maintain as usual in the OB08 transaction code only, but the translation directly we are telling the system that you can consider this as M for the conversations. Okay, and also when you say it is a real-time conversation, so it is posted on real-time basis. When you not click this button, basically you need to go in the normal way, the share and all those stuff, whatever we are doing in the month end. So that will do in the same way. And the currency rates definition, currency rates maintenance, you can do in the same way as usual. You can go to the OB08 transaction code. For the M, I can maintain the currency as usual here. The rates maintenance is same. And if you go to the OBPS, so those rate maintenance and the relation maintenance and all those stuff is same. That will be that is those settings I don't have any changes here.
Okay.
So other things are basically your currency conversion settings for company code. So those you are bringing under your company code. So whatever you created here and in the about 2 steps, that you are bringing under your company code level. And finally, for the ledger, for the ledger for your company code combination, then you are defining your concept. This is anyway picking from your controlling area settings, and this according to your requirement you can do it, and fiscal year variant and posting period variant. So this is basically you can give as your company code is belongs to which fiscal year variant it's fall under. So those things you can do as usual the configuration. And the parallel GL accounting is basically when you have multiple accounting principles, you need to tick this button. So otherwise, no need. Sorry. And finally, you are assigning your accounting principles here. So this is overall configuration. You can see from currency settings, which are newly. I mean, the new screen. We can see all. We can get all these options. And I have created for my company code. I am using. So we'll see. So one problem you will get here is basically when you assign here, when you try to assign here the group currency, it will be grayed out. So you will be not able to assign as you, as you are doing in the classic. So it will be automatically be picked from your controlling area setting. That is the only problem you will get. So you need to take care of this. Second thing is, let's go to the further settings. And here, deactivate a ledger for company code. So this is basically if you wanted to deactivate, your any particular ledger for your company code. So they given this configuration. For particular fiscal year to fiscal year also it is possible. For example, I wanted to deactivate my, but one thing is deactivation of ledger, especially for standard ledger 0L, the leading ledger, is not possible. Only the deactivation is possible only for extending ledgers. Deactivation is only possible for non-leading ledger and extending ledgers. But deactivation of leading ledger is not possible.
Makes sense. And
once you deactivate it, and again, if you wanted to try to reactivate it, if you, for example, if I have one non-leading ledger, I deactivated it for a particular fiscal year, 2017 or 2016 to 2017. So if I wanted to try to reactivate it, it is not possible. Once you are deactivated, it is gone.
Okay.
The point number one is basically, Point number one is basically it is not, you cannot deactivate your 0L leading ledger. Point number two is basically you can able to deactivate only for the non-leading ledger, but once you deactivated it, it cannot be reactivated. Okay. So, and further thing is define ledger groups. So these things also we will see. I have created my ledger group, and in the ledger group, basically the ledger group concept is as usual on the classic. Whatever we are doing in the same way we can do, but only the thing is the extending ledger is the new ledger which we added in especially S/4HANA, the new invention. So this particular ledger should not be part of your standard ledger group. If you keep it, if you try to add this particular extending ledger to your standard ledger group, it will not take. And also there will be no sense to add basically for extending ledger to this standard ledger group. Those scenarios I created, we will try to simulate in the front end. So other than that, everything looks same as your classic only. And so maintain fiscal year variant and fiscal year variant calendar and assign company code fiscal year variant. These are all same, no change. Okay. And the posting period variant also, it is looking same, but somebody is claiming that you can open the, when you say it is, but I have seen this, when you open the, so when this particular window is appearing on only S/4HANA, people are saying, but it is not like that. I think I have seen. So initially, when we went to SAP, so that point of time they said it is only coming in on S/4HANA, but it is not like that. In ECC 6 also it is coming, where you can give only particular posting period variant. We can able to give authorization for user, so you can only able to change only if you put authorizations for particular that particular user for this particular posting period variant. You can only able to do the changes for only that particular posting period variant, and you cannot change for other posting period variants. But this is there in ECC 6. Even I checked it, and there is no change in from ECC 6 to here. And
Yeah,
from period through, yeah, it is there. And from period to this period 3, no. So this is basically we are opening. This is required for during migration, basically for the CO postings. So for the CO period should be open. So for that we are using this. Okay. Other than this, and there's no change from posting period variance as well. And coming to other things. So this is for transfer price. We will discuss it later. Parallel accounting. Yeah, different accounting principles. Just now we have seen the other screen, the currency screen. Basically, there it is picking accounting principles based on these settings. Whatever the accounting principles you will define here, so it will be displayed there. Whatever the accounting principle, if you don't define the accounting principles here, it will be not displayed there to configure. Okay, there it is picking from here. Okay, based on this definition, you can able to see that information there, and you can pick whatever the accounting principles you want there. Okay, and assigning accounting principle to for the ledger groups, you can assign for your accounting principle to your ledger groups also directly here. So integrated controlling with financials. This is also new configuration node. Now basically there are a couple of things. So now basically we are bringing all the cost elements under finance. We are merging cost element with GL accounting. So that means you are creating cost element as a GL account only now. So for that we need to do some setup. So we are defining document types for posting. So this is one document type where we are using. This is a CO document type, which we, for example, earlier we post something in, the internal postings, especially for the secondary. If you do the secondary cost elements, if you do postings, that means when you do the postings within the controlling area, within the controlling module, the secondary postings will be. For those we need not to again have the CO document. But now the internal postings also, because it is part of GL account, that will create the financial document now, FI document. So that's why we need to have a document type for internal postings as well. For that we are creating the CO document type here. The document type CO we are using for internal postings and all the controlling module postings. Basically, we are mapping to this particular document type. I will show you that screen as well. And here you can observe these two settings: GL account and secondary cost. When you say it is a secondary cost, it will be capture all the secondary postings. That means within the controlling whatever earlier we used to post. For those also now it is generate the accounting documents. Those things will be generate the accounting document. So for that you need to tick this button. So these two controls you have here, and the BI only, basically this will use particular field for BI integration kind of. So all other things looks same. So this document type where we are using, where we are mapping, that also I will show you. This is a mapping variant. Okay, now all the internal postings, all the business transactions, now we need to, because it is part of GL account now, it should be generate the finance document, FI document. So we need to map all the business transactions to CO document type. So if you wanted to create your own document type other than CO, but as of now in all my implementations, we are using the CO document type for all the business transactions. But if you wanted to differentiate for each and every business transaction type, wanted to differentiate with a business different document type also, it is possible. And this is for cross company code document type. So anyway, I'm using both, but if you wanted to change, you can, in the real time we are putting as a CC. That means it's a cross company code document type. For all the posting for the cross company code, you're giving it a CC, and CO is for normal I mean, but if you want, you can use the different document types also for the different business transaction types here. Okay. So, and this you are mapping to you are assigning to your company code. So then only you can able to get all those information. I mean, you can able to, when you are bringing under your company. Let's see that. This is not a ledger for CO version. Okay. Okay, that this mapping variant we will assign to our company code. So we'll show you that as well. So now we are saying that for this particular business transaction type, we are mapping to this particular CO document type. If it is a cross company code document, then it is CC. So this we need to assign to our company code. That also we will see in the next this particular thing CO version. So now, basically your 0 version, which earlier we used to use in controlling module only for your plan and actual postings, we used to use 0 version. This particular 0 version for controlling area, 0 version now you are bringing under your ledger level. So for example, if I wanted to use there are 3 cases. Let me open my Excel. Here you have 3 possibilities. Basically, if you wanted to assign the same version to all the ledgers or different versions to different ledgers, and also the combination. Okay, so we can assign the same ledger for all the CO versions, assign different ledgers for this to each CO version. Also mixed case also it is possible. Assign 2 versions to the one leading ledger and one more to other ledger, also possible. And also we can say as of now we have it is not supporting for the parallel versions earlier which we used to have, but we can see only 0 versions now as of now. But the possibilities are the different on the same version we can use for all the ledgers. If you have a different ledgers, and the different version we can use for different ledgers also possible. With a combination also it is possible. Okay. So again here you are giving whether it is a legal valuation or group valuation or profit center valuation. Okay. So this is basically at ledger level we are creating the version. And you can see other things. Clearing accounts is not required now. Execute consistency. Okay, this we will discuss later. And coming to other settings. So when you go to the master data, so we can have a couple of observations here. So here something is missing. What it is missing? So, we are missing something here or not?
Consolidation. accounts.
Earlier, how we Rajan, did you? I mean, do you have any observation here from Classic to S4HANA here in this particular sprint, Rajan?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so there is a change here. Is basically earlier, if there is an integration between the controlling finance to controlling, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to create something, the automatic creation of cost elements and the or manual creation of cost elements.
Yeah.
That we used to say here. I mean, we would have get one more field here, one more line here, saying that whether you wanted to create a cost elements as automatically or manually. That is not there because it is not required now, because your cost elements are part of your GL only. Yeah, that is one observation. Other than that, you cannot see much changes here. And the account groups, and here we need to be very careful. People understanding is, I mean, they are understanding in different ways, but I will make you show you all the differences. Send company code to chart of accounts. This is same, but define accounting groups. So according to our requirement, for example, my additional things are my cost elements, right? The secondary cost elements also I'm creating as a GL. So I need to have a group for that. So that's the reason I created in the same way. So liability assets is the same, revenue expenses also same, but my secondary cost elements also I created the groups here.
Gotcha.
This is one thing. And now what else we required? We have created the chart of accounts, we have created the fiscal year variant, posting period variant, and also we have defined the currencies. And almost we done the setup. So let's see anything we are missing. I created a company code. I created a fiscal year variant. I created a posting period variant. Yeah, I created number ranges as well. So I copied it from the standard. So these new things also we have seen from additional currencies settings. We have already done it, and update currencies for settings for the company code also we have done it. We already done, and create chart of accounts also we created, and assign company code to controlling area is done. This is mandatory. Without this, you cannot move forward. You can't do anything. This is a mandatory step, and also customizing for the general ledger for the company code. Non-leading ledger and extending ledger concept we will discuss later. But before that, let's try to create the master data. So then I will simulate in all the ways. I already shown the configuration for extending ledger as well. But extending ledger simulation, we need to analyze more there. So we will do it later. But before that, we can see the master data setup here. Anyway, this configuration point of view also you understand, I think. So creation of assignment for the accounting principle to the ledger. So this is also done. The integration of controlling with financial accounting. So this is also we have done. We have defined the document type for controlling. Internal postings, and also defined document for mapping variant. This is also done. And check the defined value for the posting for controlling area also we have done. And define ledgers for the CO version also have done the settings. So now accounting groups also created for the even for internal secondary postings. That means for secondary cost elements also we have created the groups, and this document type also we have created document type for every for entry view of ledger. So this we need to do. So we will do this as well. And create GL account postings. So this postings we will do later. First we need to create the GL accounts. So I think we have done the setup for GL account creation. So I think it may stop you for tolerances. You can create the tolerances also for tolerance groups also. That one area it will stop, and you can create the return earning account. So as usual, however we are creating the classic, that you can create it, so that you can good to create your GL accounts. So now I'll show you the GL account part. So here we will do the more analysis here. I'm going for my GL account part now. So this liability, so one thing is this is a new dimension here, we can say. This is a new dimension. This GL account type is a new dimension. Here for balance sheet accounts, for assets and liabilities, it is same way we are creating. There's no change, but this dimension you need to select as balance sheet account. But these three things are new here. So non-operative expense and income, where we are creating this particular GL accounts as these are non-operative expense and incomes, basically, where we will not have a cost elements. Okay, so this P&L account will not have the cost element. That is the only change you can see here. And the primary, secondary, where we used to create earlier under the different transaction codes within the controlling module. So I have shown yesterday also. I'll show you once again. The primary cost elements we used to create under KA01 transaction code, and secondary cost elements we used to create under KA06 transaction code. KA01 is for primary. So those transactions are absolute. Now those transactions are redirecting me to for new transaction code FS00. So if you can put the KA06 also, it will do the same. KA06 is for internal, secondary cost elements creation. We used to use under controlling earlier. So now this is also absolute, and it is redirecting me to for FS00 only. I'm closing these two screens now. That is one thing. So that means we are, you are creating primary and secondary both under finance only, as a GL only. And this is one thing. And you can see these particular things, the area which is relevant for finance, relevant for cost element, that we can see here. I think this is for 05. That it's not applicable for assets and liabilities. So expense accounts, you can see that area, that portion which is relevant for cost element. Cost element, this is for primary cost element categories. You can see here, when you say it is primary in the front end, that means, for example, I said it is primary cost elements and revenues. So when it is, you say is a primary, it will display it with all your primary cost elements here. Okay, 01, 11, 12, 22, 3, 4. Okay, when you say it is secondary, I can say secondary cost elements category. So you can see 21 here. You can see all the secondary cost element categories here: 21, 31, 41, 43, 43, 50, 51, 52, and 61, 66. And one more thing here is basically I wanted to highlight is basically the 90 cost element category. What is the purpose of 90 cost element category? It is there in Classic also. It is there in on S1 also. But directly you can create. In the initial versions, the 1511, we used to create 90 category. We directly here. It used to be displayed here. From 1610 onwards, it is disappear here. This control is given. This control is given to asset. We were controlling that particular thing from controlling. From asset accounting and all. Those things we will see from when we cover the asset accounting topics. I will show you how it can be, how we can make it display here.
Okay, gotcha.
So the purpose of 90 category is basically if you wanted to, for example, for my balance sheet accounts, it can, and the Classic also, the balance sheet accounts, it will be not flow to your controlling modules. If I wanted to show my balance sheet account as a statistical purpose, that's only for information purpose under the controlling module. So I can use this particular 90 category. Okay. So balance sheet item, if you wanted to again flow to your reports for controlling reports as only for information purpose. It is not real kind of thing. It's only for information purpose, only statistical purpose. You can use that particular cost element category. And this 66 also, it is new. This is displaying from 1610 onwards. This is we are using for only for reporting this particular cost elements only in COPA. then we will use this cost element category. All other things are not new. Whatever we are getting on the classics, same thing we are getting here. Even 90 also we used to get in classic, and we are getting here, but directly it will be displayed here. That's what the changes from 1511 to 1709. Also, I'm highlighting here. And next thing is here again we need to understand more here. Basically, for example, all these fields are appearing here. Where is the control? See, I'm able to see this particular GL account type or this particular fields, for example, tax category or recon account or inflation tolerance groups and all these fields. From where it is controlling? Where we are getting these fields? Where we need to do the configuration for these fields?
Was it a group control?
Field
status, yeah.
Field status where?
Chart of account data.
Okay, you mean account groups level? True. So we are controlling this chart of accounts, whatever the account groups we are creating at chart of accounts level. From there we are creating, we are controlling. So for example, for me, so for example, for my revenue, this is a field status. So from here, we are able to control there. True? Yes. Your understanding is correct. Basically, these fields are appearing there at, I mean, in this screen, whatever the GL master data creation. So those are controlling from there only. But second thing is, I wanted to highlight this point. Basically, this particular portion is where we are. That means your understanding is here. This portion is coming from there. My account settings and controlling area. This particular portion where I can control now. From where it is triggering now. That means we are getting this information from here.
Mm-hmm.
Can you go back? I don't know whether we have a separate group for this, or is it coming from the controlling area?
There is.
Okay, for account settings for the controlling area. So let's search for this, whether we have any relevant field here. For example, I have currency here, I have tax category, I have return.
So go back to revenue, because this is for revenue.
Okay. So let's see for secondary cost or primary expenses or secondary cost. Let's take secondary cost only. I have account control, currency, tax category, reconciliation account, exchange rate differences, account managed in external system, only balance in local currency, alternate account number, inflation key, tolerance groups. Right?
Yeah.
So let's see from account management point of view, open item, short key, authorization group, administrating and clearing specific to clearing specific to ledger group. And let's go to the document entry. So recon ready for input and field status group, post automatically only and supplement automatically postings, which we'll see in the third tab. Okay, and also we can see the bank and financial things, planning level, confirmation item, relevant for cash flow, host bank account. This is also in the third tab we'll get. Okay, and also joint venture fields. But where is my cost elements fields? How it is appearing there?
Is it default or is it? I don't think in the controlling area setting we had this. I think it might be default.
Okay. So, but I think we need to understand these are all the basically analysis we need to do. So because in the real time you will face these problems. So as I'm saying that controlling area is mandatory. So I will show you the difference so that you'll come to know.
Controlling area config.
Yeah. Go to OKKP. It will be flow. This control will come from controlling area only. So let's see R03. That's why I created two company codes. One is negative A. So we can see this company code. I did not assign my company code to my controlling area here. Okay, this is a control. When you assign your company code to controlling area, then only it will be displayed there. So I will show you for this company code how it is while creating my master, how it is displaying. You will see. I'm going for my new company code RB03 here. Okay. I think it's RB03 only. I go to the expenses, rent. Can I see that information here? I'm not able to see that information because I have not assigned this company code to controlling area.
Okay, you select secondary cost element also, it won't show because, okay.
Anything.
Yeah, though you have the account group, it won't work. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So if you go little deeper analysis, you'll get the logic also. Okay. So historically, these are all part of. I mean, yeah, these are all. I mean, we can see the logic. So earlier we used to create under controlling area only, right? Without controlling area, you cannot create the cost elements. Even now you are merging with your controlling area, your cost elements with the GL accounts also. So the logic, I mean, if you go and debug the code, then you'll come to know. So this controls from controlling area is mandatory there. Company code assignment to controlling area is mandatory there. Then only you can able to able to create that information while creating the GL account. Okay. If I go to my new company code, this is the only change. I can able to do this. Let's see at the observation backend also.
RB05.
Yeah, RB05 to this we assign here. That's the only change. Okay, this is one observation here. And second thing is, earlier we used to have a cost element validity date, right?
Yeah, some like cost centers we used to have a validity date.
So where is that now? We are controlling that.
Is it?
No.
When you create the, okay, it's not, last tab, go to the one when we create it. From date only, I think we have, right? Not true date.
Yeah. So the cost element validity period, the validity period is basically, it is absolute from here, but only the thing is you are during the migration. I mean, I will not give the clue first. Let's see from the database end. Okay. I'm not giving anywhere controls. When I go to my table, during the postings, I will show you all these things, but I will show you now itself. For example, RB05. So you have validity period, you can see here. I'm not giving anywhere, even it is showing validity period here. This for only for secondary cost elements. Not here, I think. Just a minute. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, so we can see first of all where this information will be stored. So master tables, where it will be stored. Okay, general will go. I think okay. So this in the backend, where it will be stored. This information, GL master tables we have in the classic, right? So the same tables we are using, or we are using the different tables here. We are using the same tables.
You have time dependent attribute on the top, right? Is that what you use?
No. No, generally, okay, we forget about that. Basically, where these master data tables, where we have the classic tables, same tables we are using for the master data, the SKA1 and SKB1, you can go. Or I will go to my SKB1. SKA1 is for chart of accounts data and SKB1 is for my company code data we can see, and SK8 is for description. So now SKB1 I'm going. So this is my the information which I am creating at company code level. So because we need to have a clear understanding here. So now and cost, what are my dedicated table for cost element master data? It is CSK1 and CSK and CSKB. So this is CSKB, you can see CSK1A, you can see, and also CS. Now anyway, I'm creating my cost limits at chart of accounts level. I will do my chart of accounts level RP05. Okay, so this enter date it is there. Let's see the SKB1 also, CSKB also. So this validity date it is coming here, from where it is picking. So I'm not giving anywhere. So first point number one. Yeah.
Is it by default 314999?
From I think we will have a control for it as well. So first thing is point number one. We are creating the master and the backend. It is using the same tables or not. Okay, I will conclude all those things now. So we are creating these three, tabs. Earlier also is there. Basically, FS S0, FS P0, FS S. There are three ways we can create the GL icons, right? One is at chart of accounts level. Only you will get this information and this information. And if you can create the combination, if you create for only company code data, so then you will get only these two information where you are creating your GL account portion for company code. And if you use that, we have different transactions also there. FS 00 is for both the combination of your company code and chart of accounts data. And the backend, the tables which we are saving for is SKA1 and SKB1 for chart of accounts data and company code data. So this is from finance end. The controlling end, all the cost elements we used to save, cost elements master data we used to save in the CSKB, whatever we have seen just now, CSKB. So those tables we used to use. So now my point is here I am now creating my cost elements also GL. So this portion is coming under where? It is coming under my company code data. That means I need to, is it saving under the SKB1 table, or it is saving where it is saving? Can I take in this way? I'm creating the controlling area. Control data is in classic system. The control data is basically it's part of SKB1 table. Now I'm creating the cost elements under control data only. That means this is also part of my SKB1 table.
No, this might be still under the CSKB and CSKA.
SKB table.
Yeah.
So even you are creating, true, even you are creating under control data, which is part of your SKB1, it will always save the information for CSKB table only. For the controlling information, as usual, it is goes to CSKB table only. And first thing, and second thing is the validity period. We are not giving anywhere, but at the migration time, so we have one step. From there, we will give them. We will execute that step by giving these particular dates. So from there, From there, it will pick let me close this. From there, this validity date, it will show here. Yeah, this validity date is picking from there. At a time, we will execute the transaction during migration. So all the things will be, controlled. The validity date for all the cost elements will pick up automatically one after migration.
But what about greenfield projects, not migration?
For the greenfield also, you have a step there only. For the greenfield also, you have a step, one step in the beginning. So that step you need to execute. For the greenfield also, we are executing a couple of steps in the beginning. So there it will have we have a control in the same place.
Wouldn't that greenfield we'll be creating GL just like normal master data, the way you just showed?
Yeah, even if you create master data normal way also, basically when you see it is from cost element point of view, okay, once after you migrated, then you can create that particular cost element, then it will not have the validity period there.
Yeah, so let's say there is no migration, just we are starting from scratch.
Yeah, if you say it is from scratch, then you will not have validity period itself.
So what's the significance of this validity period then?
That's what they are removing it. Earlier it is there, so validity period is there. So when you say it is validity period for applicable for from particular period to particular period, so then you can able to do the postings and all those things only for that in between that particular period.
Right.
When you say it is not applicable thing, that means you can use this forever.
So what you're saying is they are removing this validity range?
Yes, yes. But even for the existing systems, when you do migration on S4HANA, so those things it will be displayed. Those things it will be displayed. I mean, you need not to confuse there. Basically, you will not have any date there, but it will be picked from during the migration step, whatever you will give there. So by executing that step, it is displaying only at table level, but it will be not displayed anywhere else. Okay. So that is, I mean, it is minute level observation. Basically, when you do more deeper analysis only, then we'll come to know all those things. Okay. So one thing, I think I covered validity period, and so one more thing. So cost elements, basically during our classic systems, when you used to create a cost element master data, we used to have an option for account assignment, default account assignment. Remember?
We used to have it in the cost element definition right earlier, but now I think we need to do it in OKB9, right?
Yes, that is more to OKB9. So because you are not getting here, you're not getting that option here. Default account assignment is completely absolute. Now those settings are moved to OKB9 only. So that is one more point from GL master point of view. And now we will see the results for the postings as well. If I do the posting for secondary postings, let's see some documents I have already posted. So let's see some of the things from our single source of truth as a Zero table. See, I have posted some documents here. I can say This is my secondary postings I did. Secondary postings, I posted for a couple of documents for secondary postings. So this is I did post it basically for my internal order to cost center, which is internal postings of controlling module. So we will see in the classic how it was and now how it is posting. We will see. Let's see. Take the document number. And as we discussed yesterday, we have seen the C11. We have analyzed it there. You can see the same kind of fields here. Let's see the currency fields and all the stuff here. So same thing. It is reflecting from back end to front end. Nothing is changing. Okay, you can see all the fields relevant for controlling and also currencies, which are newly coming from AA, from controlling module, from asset accounting and all those stuff. You can analyze more here, which are coming in newly. You can see the observation also. Okay, so the document type which I posted for internal postings, it is picking CO based on my document type setting, and also this which we have seen just I mean couple of minutes back. You can see. And you can do more observations here. Basically, you have Flexa, Flexi relevant things also here. The new GL tables also it is mentioned now here. And also when you do some postings for your extending ledger, it will be posted here. And these two things will be not posted at basic level. Even historically also, when they introduced new GL concept in ACC 6 point of time, they have given the dedicated table for new GL. But now those things you can able to see can track at ACDOCA level. Okay, so let's see this document. So you can you can analyze here. You can go through by all these things. So now I'm taking this document number. Let's take it. Okay. Remove it. Let me show you.
What's the first document number?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, if you see the document number.
Yeah, it is 1.
Yeah, not 3000.
3.
What's that? The one, the which you picked earlier.
We will see this as well later. I think it is 3. Let's analyze first this 3. This 3 is okay. Internal postings is 3. Not 3. It is 2. Let's see the 2. So see here, let's go to the environment. See here, I have control. I posted from internal postings from internal order to I created my internal order and captured some expenses, and I posted for my cost objective for cost center, which I done, and it is posted from order to cost center. So earlier, when we do internal postings, we have only a controlling document where we will not have the document of finance. Now, as this is part of your GL account, which is created as a GL account, it will create the GL account as finance document as well. That we will see here. So you can able to see that information also here. I think you can see. This is what you can expect the finance document as well. Now you can see the finance document as well as a controlling document here. If I go to the order, I can let's move go to the see here. I have I can see the two documents here. Right? I can see my finance document as well. I can see my controlling document. Okay, you can see the accounting document here. So accounting document, controlling document. So if you post something from one cost objective to another cost objective within the controlling module, I wanted to highlight here is basically earlier we only have the one document, which is controlling document. Now we have two documents because of it is GL accounts. It is creating the accounting document as well. And second thing is which document type it is picking and on what basis it is picking. So that is what we created the CO document type there, and the CO document type for this particular business transaction we sent there. So from there it is picking, and it is then we can able to see that the document which is created for that. Okay, I think you did you understand the basically implications of those settings as well, the controlling the business variant mapping and the CO document mapping there. So those are all have the implications here. So based on that only the document type it will pick here. Based on that only it will be generate the document here. Clear? Or any other questions here?
So can you go to the table which has counting document number and controlling document number?
Okay.
The table.
Yeah. This is your for the same entry. You can see this. Yeah. This is for CO document type, internal document type, and also we can see. Let's see the other screen. Let me close it. This is document type, document number 2. say accounting document here. See 2 to 2. One is for finance and one is for controlling. Okay, and this is for again this business transactions. It is picking from there where we have mapping variant, which we, and from the mapping variant which we assign to CO document type. From there it is picking CO document type here. Document type.
So if you create post to this account from FI GLP, because this is a primary, this is expense count.
Yes.
And if you post right now, you post it from controlling side. If you post from accounting side, still it will create two documents.
No. So when you say it is, I mean, what you mean to say is basically if you wanted to create post only document, not for within the controlling module, that means one, you are saying that if I do the primary postings, do I have two documents, right?
Right.
So let's see that as well. I have another posting for the same. Let's analyze from this table only. I did some primary postings as well. For example, number 1. Okay, this I posted by giving my cost objective. So COIN is the business transaction type where we'll do posting something from FI to CO. So in this case, basically when you give the cost objective, so let's see the document number 1, then it will be posted 2 documents. Let's see. Is a primary posting only. When I can say this, but I given here I can see 2 documents. Why? Because I given a cost objective there. I given a, let's see that information also, the controlling document. I given a cost objective as internal order there, so that's why it is generated the document for CO as well. If you not give, then it will not generate. But any cost element, when you're creating it as a cost element, it will ask the cost objective, right?
So it is kind of mandatory.
Yes. Right. Any expenses where you're incurring that you need to tell the system, right? I mean, any expenses somewhere you will spend it, right? So that you need to keep. So that means it will be tracked 2 documents there. One is finance document, one is controlling document. When you say it is a cost element, it should be again assigned to. I mean, it should be flow to some cost object. So then it definitely you will have one more document, CO document there. And if you will not create it as a cost element, then it will not ask.
Yeah, for balance sheet count, it will not ask, but for any expense
and one more thing also is possible. For example, you have a case where you will not create your P&L account as a cost element. That point of time also, it will not ask. For example, your non-operative expense and income. So this is we are using the different cost element category there, different account type there. FS00. For those, you are creating it as a cost, not creating it as a cost element. So even it is a P&L, you are not creating it as a cost element. So then it will not expect any cost objective there. So that point of time you will have only one document, one document there. And other things also, a couple of other things. When you say from the product costing point of view, your production variances and your I mean, something will be flowed from controlling to finance, right? So that point of time also we will not create it as a cost element. So that point of time you will see only one document. You will not see the two documents. The better example is for the non-operating expenses income. Only you can take it as basically where you are not, when you are not creating it as a cost element, it will not expect any cost objective. That point of time, it will not generate any additional line item for controlling. It will not generate the controlling document there. You will have only one document, finance document there. Clear or?
Yeah.
We will see those cases also. Some cases I will give you some examples, because I given a couple of examples, but we will see where we are not creating as a cost elements. And that's the only thumb rule is when you are not, your P&L is not created as a GL, not created as a cost element, then system will not generate any additional document for controlling. It will generate only finance document. When you say it is created as a cost element, then it will expect the cost objective where you are spending this money, and at the same time it will generate the one more document as well, even it is a primary costing.
So there would be some
here. Yeah, go ahead, Rajan. Yeah.
There would be some cases where only controlling document is creating, not finance document.
Yes, like that is even the classic.
When we are posting to Scanry.
True. That is a case in the classic, basically where we did not match the cost element with the GL account there. So when you do internal postings, it used to create only secondary cost elements. I mean, it used to only generate controlling document. So now it is part of GL account. It is generating accounting document as well. That is a change here.
Mm-hmm.
What you said is correct. That is in the classic system, when you do the internal postings within the controlling module, so it will not generate the finance document. You cannot expect the finance document there, because that point of time the controlling, I mean, the cost elements was not matched with the GL account. We never used to create as a GL account. So that point of time it was only generate the CO document only. But now it is part of GL account. It is creating accounting document as well.
So that's where real-time reconciliation is happening.
Yes. Got it?
Yeah.
So for that only we are doing the real-time integration, the business variant mapping and assigning that CO document to the mapping variant. All those things, the business transactions we are assigning to that particular document type. So those are all the settings we are doing because of this only. So I can say that different business transaction type, different CO document types also we can assign. That means when you see the results in A0 table, that point of time, if you assign more some other document type there, it will be show you with the same document type in the document type bit. And when it is intercompany transactions, when it is, I can say it is CC, then it can be captured in the same way. So it will be tracking everything here: business transaction type, and the document type. You can track everything here. Yeah.
So intercompany eliminations also happen in the same table?
Yeah, intercompany, if you do the intercompany postings, again, you need to use a different document type there, CC. I mean, to differentiate from CO, I mean, the normal document types to intercompany things. So we always differentiating the CC. CO is normal and CC is for intercompany transactions. So there it will be displayed with your CC. So that is the only change, and the remaining all looks same. So you need to create the GL account, clearing GL accounts for intercompany transactions and all those stuff. It is same. Clear, Rajan?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have any doubts, you can ask me, or I can open the floor tomorrow also, the first 10 minutes. Something comes to your mind, so let's discuss more there. Okay, I think now we are clear on the old settings and the new settings, especially on the currencies part and GL master and GL creation. And also we have cleared on, okay, okay, external ledger configuration we did, and also external ledger posting, the simulation we will do tomorrow. And we will analyze more things by simulating in different ways in the tomorrow session, all the front end things. And also you can see different transactions, this is the new transactions we can simulate for all the review reports. Okay, so I think we are clear on most of the configuration parts, but simulation point of view, that's what primary postings and secondary postings are simulated. But let's analyze more from, especially from extending ledger postings. I created different scenarios here to understand, make you understand in I mean, I created a couple of scenarios here for extending ledger. So how, for give you the clear understanding on extending ledger part, let's see this tomorrow. I create a leading, non-leading, and extending ledger. We discussed on the theoretical part, but we will do experiments there. Then it will be very clear for you. And the master data point of view, I think we have seen all these things, and also we have seen the primary postings and secondary postings. We have discussed on the 90 category and also cluster element validity. And the CO integration also we have seen, especially for CO version for ledger. So all the possible things we have seen there. And the integration part also we have seen. And currency settings also we understood. But in the currencies point of view, in the future, there are so many other points to need to be discussed. I will show you in the system by experimenting in different ways. And all the possible ways in the negative and positive way, how to do the setup in the proper way. So all those things, and how can we finalize the currency types and currency settings, and all those things also we'll discuss in future. And this subsequent document splitting, which is new, this is for NewGL point of view. These things we will discuss during the migration topics. Okay, and we have discussed on the absolute settings for the transactions as well as the table level. Most of the tables which are absolute, and those things also we have seen a couple of transactions, K01, 06, and other stuff also we have discussed on it. And we will see tomorrow more postings for extending ledger. And second thing is we will see a couple of important apps on Fiori.
Is there anything which was done in Classic? I mean, not the so-called new GL. Like that feature hasn't yet come into S4.
New GL, I'm taking it as a separate topic. We will discuss in detail from Classic to entire from how it is evolving from 15.03 to till date. What are the things are coming in? What are not there?
No, but I meant new GL. I mean, like in the existing non-HANA database, it used to be classical GL, and then they created a new GL with Faggle plus those tables. And now there is a third version of S4.
Yes.
So have all the features from new GL gone to this S4, or there are certain features still pending?
No, all the just a minute.
What's that? Sorry.
Sorry, Rajan. Yeah, come again. So new GL is, yeah.
So what I was asking, have all the features moved to this S4, or there are certain features which are still need to be implemented in S4 HANA? S4.
Yeah, basically in the initial versions, the document splitting and all those stuff is not there. But now, anyway, this leading and non-leading, the parallel ledger concept is by default you are getting. But the document splitting point of view, a couple of things are added in the new latest versions.
in
Okay,
S4.
and especially, yeah, especially
Because
when you say,
document splitting was already there in new GL in non-HANA.
yeah, yeah, it is there. But what is happening is, for example, your on 1610, if you not implemented it, I mean that means you have not activated the document splitting there. And the 1709 version, if people wanted to go for activation and use this particular functionality, then they are making it possible by giving the subsequent document splitting. So those things are changed, but normal other things are looking same. But couple of things coming to from classic to new GL and new GL to classic to new GL. When it is classic only is there, new GL is not implemented. So those cases, there are a couple of things basically which we need to take in care. If you're not there on the new GL on your classic systems, what are the things we need to take in care? If you are already there in the new GL, what are the things we need to take in care? So these are all the topics we'll discuss in detail in the future. And I made a topic separately for document splitting and especially for the document splitting. That point of time, I will explain you all those things. When to do what, and if you are on classic, what we need to do. If you are already in UGL, what we need to do. For example, you already implemented S4HANA. I mean, you are on the different versions, but you have not implemented the certain functionalities like document splitting and all. Then you wanted to go for it. So what we need to do? You already there, and again you are. I mean, when you go for the new versions, so what you need not to do. So all those things we will discuss in detail.
Okay.
Yeah. From today's topics, anyway, the future topics anyway I will cover in detail. But from today's topics, if you have any questions, please ask me. But the remaining topics, basically for extending ledger point of view, we'll see a couple of things, and also we'll simulate some other things also in the front end. So those things we will see in tomorrow's session.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks both, and let's see. I think Preeti also joined. So anyway, if you have any further doubts, also let's discuss tomorrow in the morning. I mean, for 10 minutes in the beginning. So then we can move ahead for the further topics.
Thank you.
Okay, and I will share you this document also. You follow the same thing, and you can follow my company code as well. If you have any challenges, I will help you out in that as well. Okay, definitely you will have a couple of issues while creating, configuring, and all. But anyway, I will help you out, and I already shown you the possible ways of rectification, where exactly you will get issues and how to rectify it. But even if still you have some problems, then definitely we can discuss on all those topics also. I'll share you this document as well, and it's already recorded, and you can see this and the recording as well. And I will share you. With your mail ID also. I'll send it to your mail ID, and also you can go step by step, do the configuration. So then we can able to simulate the transactions in the front end also. That we will see anyway tomorrow. But today we will try to do this configuration. I'll share you with all of you. Just try to do the configuration in the same way, step by step. Okay.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Let's connect tomorrow.